One.
There it is.
Hey guys.
Sometimes I'm on time. Sometimes I miss it by like a second. It's cool.
It's the internet, man. All right, ladies and gents, we're here to talk to you today a little bit about golf, and I'm going to tell you why my nickname when it comes to those 18 holes is Arbol. I'll tell you in a sec. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. Here we go.
What up, ladies and
Here we
gents?
go.
All right, Ham, it is time for you to drop some
The fire. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in business, you know this is true. The biggest deals are made where? On the golf course. And while you're out there making those big deals, I'm sure you want to look good on the course, right? Well, today's guest is an entrepreneur extraordinaire, and his latest development will help you improve your golf game and impress your future business partners. Tune in today to learn from our guest how he took an idea from thought to production and is now providing golfers and golf instructors around the country the perfect natural swing aid that transfers to nearly immediate muscle memory and better golf scores. Here to teach our audience how to take your invention from idea to product, and joining us today from EndSwate Golf, welcome to Doug Herman!
Doug, welcome to the program.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
So
Yeah, you bet.
That's one hell of an intro. It's always cool when James drops the intro that way. And Doug, I'm just gonna jump into it, man. Look, I come from a baseball background. When I got off the diamond and I made my way onto the green, the tees, I can hit a ball pretty far. The problem is they give me this large football field size green to land on, and I find a way to find any tree that is out there, like it has my name on it. So, you know, my one of my business partners would call me Audible because it doesn't matter where the tree was, I would find it. Help.
Yeah. Well, so let me start at the beginning. So I came up with this idea. I've been an athlete all my years, and one of the challenges I had with golfing was I always sliced the ball. I played hockey growing up left-handed and sliced the ball. Played pretty good golf, but I'd always have to line up, about 45 degrees the other direction to try to hit it straight down the fairway. And one of the challenges is for me, and I'm not being disparaging to anybody's product, but one of the challenges was using the girdles or the hand cufflets or whatever to try to perfect your swing just never worked for me. And I've always been about natural swing and look to my coaches and other players to see, really what was proper swing mechanics and get that and let my innate ability kind of take over because we're all a little different. And so the idea was a lot of it germinated from Jack and Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus and Ben Hogan, because they actually weighted their clubs with lead tape at the butt end of their grip. And the reason they did that is they liked the feel of it, but it was a very light amount, a couple ounces. My idea was, hey, let's do a substantial amount of weight and see what the results are. And holy buckets. I mean, I'll tell you, the first time out, it was transformational. And so last March, I came up with the design. I think March 4th, I came up with the design. 9 days later, I had prototypes done. And in 14 days, we were in the field at Kip Pudabar's Aviara Golf Academy, and we started doing field testing on it. And the results were amazing. Kip was a little bit hesitant in the beginning. He's been doing this for 45 years, and he's like, oh, I've seen every gimmick there is. I really don't want to put my name behind anything. And I just gave it to him. I said, Kip, I'm looking for objective feedback. If it's a gimmick, I'm going to cancel the product, let it go, just feel it and take a swing. And he's like, oh, can I try this? Can I take this back to the club? And I said, yeah, take it back to the club and give me your feedback. And the next day he was with a young lady. She's in one of the before and after videos that we have on the website or in our YouTube feed. And within one session, he'd been working with her for about 3 months. And in one session, he improved her club follow through and her casting within one session. And he'd been working for a few weeks or more just on the club head follow through. So he called back that next day and said, wow, this is a phenomenal product. And what we've been, go ahead.
Let me ask you about that. Cause the way you're describing it, I'm picturing something on the end of the club. Does it stay there? Like, so for me on a baseball bat, we always have bats that came straight to a butt end, or they had kind of like an incline on the end, right? And so I'm picturing something like that on the end of the club. Maybe James can pull up the samples on the screen share here, and we'll show a picture of it. Does this stay on the club the whole time? Like, do you play with this all 18 holes, or is this more like a training product? How does that work?
Yeah, it is a training product. It goes on the butt end, and the reason it goes on the butt end, and what's really important is you really don't want to put weight out at the club head. Even on a baseball bat, baseball players tend to use the donut. You really don't want to do that because two things happen. One, when you put weight in front of your hands, it induces casting, and then it also triggers your slow twitch muscle memory because your body's going, oh, this is a heavy weight. And so your bat actually slows down. In fact, I was involved in a product similar to this, but for baseball, and helped get that launched. And we had objective data with speed testing with phenomenal batters, pro batters, that we showed when they warmed up with a donut, their swing speed slowed down at least 10%. And after resting, then they put the weight on the butt end of the bat. They swung that, warmed up with that, and hit balls with it. But then when they took it off and then started to swing at pitches coming in, their bat speed went up anywhere from 10 to 30%.
Wow.
This is the same. Yeah, it's phenomenal. And, it's a tough mindset to overcome for something that has been done for 50 years by using a donut up there. Well, in golf, it's a little more, folks are a little more open about those ideas. And so with the weight on the other end, what it does is it pulls the hands down. And you've probably heard this from Tony Gwynn and other athletes. You'll hear it from Ben Hogan, any of the stuff. You're really trying to drive the knob of the club at the target, right? Mm-hmm. And what that does is it gets the hands through faster, and then the club follows, right? Whether it's a bat, whether it's a hockey stick, whatever. And so that's what then perfects that swing mechanics. And with golf, what happens is that heavier weight, it drives the butt end to the path or to the target or the ball, and then everything falls through. So that creates lag, and then it eliminates casting, and then that weight comes around, and it brings your hands all the way around without slowing down your swing. A lot of players, once they make contact, they'll either pull their elbow into their side or they'll start to lift the butt end of the club. That's what right there, your swing's done. You want it to come all the way through. Now, the question you asked about is, hey, do I use it all the time? Well, for one, the rules of golf when you're in a sanctioned game is that you can't put something on and off the club. What you have on your clubs has to stay on it in the entire round after the first drive. Okay. Now, this product itself has not been, quote, qualified to do that, and it was really intended for a hitting aid. But what we've found is that players are, a lot of folks aren't playing tournaments in that. Players are using it all the way during their game. They're putting it on and off before they hit a ball. The way I designed it was so it goes on easy, comes off easy. You can throw it in your pocket, and then you don't have to hit balls with it. There's a lot of golfers that don't hit balls with it, and they're getting the same results because what it does is it just reinforces that proper swing mechanics. And what has exceeded our expectations and is really powerful is it maps into that mental muscle memory and then transfers to your game when you're not even using it. It's fantastic. I'm telling you, we've had so much fun with it.
It's almost like cheating, right? Like, everybody comes up with something to help improve their game. But this, like you said, when it comes into the muscle memory, there's something to be said in almost any sport. When you have a repetition of a particular activity, whatever it is, catching ground balls, throwing a ball to first base, whether it's, that swing on the golf course. But once you have that, your mind just kind of goes to the same motion every single time. I'm wondering, there's a lot of people like myself who've already developed bad golf habits, right? Like, you know, we go into the game thinking, that doesn't look like a difficult sport. We can figure that out. And then we develop our own bad habits. So then when we finally get into a situation where we want coaching, where we want to learn something new, you know, it's hard to break those old habits. What's your experience using your product in helping people who've already developed, you know, like myself, some of these bad habits?
Yeah. So for golf and what we've experienced, and we have the objective data both statistically and video, and you can see that video, and you can always reach out to me to get more. But what we've found was amazing, and I believe this is we don't have, you know, factual science to it, but what we believe, and those who are part of this, and what is part of the experience is, and Kip has talked about this, is when he has a student that he's been working on for weeks or months on, let's say, casting, the concept of casting is very difficult, especially since your swing is a third of a second. And so to internalize it is really hard. Well, when you put that 14-ounce EndSwate on and you swing it, I would say 70% of the time people say, oh, now I know what you mean by casting. And so I think what happens is a couple of things.
I want you to explain real quick, because there's a lot of people who probably are doing that and don't know what it is.
Right. Yeah, thank you for clarifying. Casting is when you throw the head or the barrel of the bat in for baseball players like yourself, but when you throw the head in front of your hands, right? So now the club head is going to the ball faster than your hands. And what you want is, you don't want to cast or throw that forward like that. You want that to trail through, because that's where the energy, it comes through your hands coming through. You want fast hands. You don't want fast club head speed. The club head speed will come with fast hands. And so that's what it is that club head is going too soon. That's casting. Leg is that club staying back longer. If you look at Lee Trevino, holy buckets, that guy, his leg was unbelievable. It was just like it never left when he swung. So that's what's really powerful. So now talking, what I was saying is, so one, when students and people experience that, they, you know, oh, now I know what casting is, because now they're feeling it, right? And they begin to internalize it. And as they internalize it, I think another thing that happens is, when you are casting or you're doing something inefficient in your swing mechanics, and all of a sudden you start becoming more efficient with it and you recognize it, your body will naturally gravitate to the efficiency, because it always will, right? That's just human nature. It'll go to the efficiency. And so what ends up happening is, your body then, it maps that efficiency into your mental muscle memory, and then it stays with it. So when you leave or you don't use it, your body is just, okay, I know my efficient swing, and it just keeps going back to that. Now, you're not going to solve it immediately or resolve it immediately, but we've seen significant improvements where, you know, players are getting 20 yards, at least 20 yards on their woods, and 10 yards on their irons, and sometimes more, as well as their scores are improving. We have guys are hitting the greens, you know, 14 out of 18 times, and the best they've ever done in a round is 5 or 6. But that's being on it for a few weeks. You're saying it's not only going to improve the distance of your shot, but also the accuracy of where you're going. You're going to stick to the fairway more than finding the trees on the outskirts. Yeah. So what you get is, you get less ball dispersion, right? So it's a tighter, straighter shot, and you get distance. And then another thing that we found that was later on in the field testing that is just delights everybody is, a lot of golfers, a large percent of the golfers, when they get into their wedge work and their chipping, they tend to decelerate or stop. So right when they hit it, they kind of stop. And that's not what you want to do. So what we do is, hey, get that 14-ounce on, the heavier one, and get about 40 yards out and swing through and use that 14. Use a half a bucket balls or a bucket of balls, and wow, all of a sudden their swing is coming all the way through. And before you know it, they're just lobbing them on beautiful, and it's just huge for their short game. So you got different weights Yep.
Do the different weights are they used for different club types? Are they used for different size individuals? I mean, kind of like I'm relating a lot to a bat, right? So the length of a bat and the ounces of a bat, depending on the size of the guy that's going up to swing it, right? So I'm assuming the weights have there's a reason why you have the different ounces on the weights.
Right. In the field testing, we tried weights from 2 ounces way up to over 20. And what we found is there was really a diminishing return if you had anything really lighter than 8 or more than 14. It didn't really pay any differences or any dividends back. And so that was kind of the sweet spot. And then we said, okay, what's the difference between an 8, 9, 10, 11? And the jump to 4 ounces is a little bit much. And the jump to 2 ounces isn't much. But that 3 ounces, the 8 to 11 and 11 to 14 was pretty significant. And what happens is all golfers, it's really hard to prescribe exactly what to use because golfers have different feels or different swing mechanics and strengths. And so it's really hard to prescribe this is the best one. What we tend, and on the website do, is we tend to talk about the advantages of the 3 weights, where the 14 ounces, if you got some really gnarly swing mechanics related to backswing, casting, leg and club head follow through, that 14 really gets you there quickly and it feels, you feel it. While the 8 ounces is as you start to perfect that swing, it's really great for fast timing work. And that 11 does the same thing, but it fits, it kind of works both the 8 and 11. A lot of folks will buy the 11 because they're not sure to buy the set or buy the 8 and the 14. You can use it on all the clubs. We have 9-year-olds swinging the 14 ounce that love it, and it gets them distance on the ball. It gets them that accuracy, and a lot of them will play with it all the way through a round as practice. As they're practicing the game, they'll use it and they'll switch out different weights. A lot of folks will love the set. In fact, one thing that we've discovered from a couple, I've heard this now from a couple customers. They've reached out to me and they said, I've been working with this thing for a month or 2 now, and they use it as like going to the gym as a workout. And so they get it and they go up the ladder and down the ladder and up the ladder and down. They always want to finish down the ladder because your club head speed is so fast coming off the 14 that there's a transition, right? If you take the 14 off and then hit, you're gonna scatter the ball a little bit. You're gonna be a little slice or a little pull until you hit it about 6 times. And then it's like, your body acclimates around the faster club head speed, and then you're hitting it straight and further. So, that 14 ounce, that 11 ounce, and 8, they're great as a set to work up and down the ladder. Oh, and what I was saying is those individuals, they'll work on it, and after about a month or so, what they found is some of these guys play like 36 holes every other day, and they're in tournaments. And they said, after working with this and using it kind of as a workout regiment, they found that they don't fatigue in their rounds of 36 and that like they did before. So that's another thing. It's building that endurance strength, right? Which we all want to have when we're playing an athletic game, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Rather, it's better to enhance the swing than turn to the beer. Not that the beer is a bad thing, but there's another way to improve the game other than...
You got the 19th hole always, right?
Exactly. It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
All right, Doug, we're going to take a little break here. I'm going to let James do his thing, and then we're going to come back and learn about the business side of what you're doing.
Sure.
All right. Ham's insurance the day since we're talking about golf today. And since Herman's golf will always send the ball into the arboleda, let's talk a little bit about golf swing could land you short. Anytime we cause injury to someone or damage, we're responsible for those costs. When break someone's windshield, you got to pay. Rear end someone in a golf cart, don't yell "for" loud enough or enough and hit someone in the back of the head with a golf ball, you gotta pay. So that's why if you rent and don't own your home, you want to have personal liability in your homeowner's or renter's policy. The liability portion of your policy will cover you for injuries you may cause to a person or damages you may cause to someone's property. Homeowners and rent policies typically have this coverage included. Personal extends even to your guests at your home and can protect you in a lawsuit if someone leaves your home after having a few drinks in an accident. Personal liability is a great thing. You want to make sure that you have enough of it to feel protected. You want enough at least to cover your home. More can be added with an umbrella policy, but we can talk about that on the next Ham's Insurance Tips. So if you have any questions or need any help, give Pipeline Insurance a call at 877-928-9994 and follow me on Twitter at InsuranceBro.
Woo woo.
And I just realized that I totally messed up at the UMPD banner up the whole time.
I thought it was wrong, but I was like, maybe I'm off. You're the insurance guy, but okay.
No, it was all me. I messed up and didn't update that banner.
Hey, stuff happens, right? It happens.
Oh well.
All right, Doug. Let's talk a little bit more about the business aspect of what you're doing. You launched last March, so I want to know. Struggle is real. In business, we all have different struggles. What are the current things that in your business you found that you're struggling with, and maybe you've overcome them? What are the hurdles that you had to overcome?
Yeah, so something fairly recently, and it happens whenever you come up with a new product and you're producing it, and when you start to ramp to production, high volumes. And you haven't necessarily perfected all the processes and the systems. And what'll happen is if you don't have, really sound refinement, because you're not there yet, right? You have to make steps to learn. Sometimes, and what we've had some formula, I wouldn't say mix up, but has some formulas that have skewed to the stiffer side of things. And so it made the product harder to get on the golf club, right? It makes sense because rubber can be very, very pliable, or it can be really stiff like a hockey puck. Mm-hmm. And so there's a balance there, and you can only have so much. There's a range that you can have that rigidity in a sense. And so one of the things we experienced was we had a lot that went through, a batch that went through that was too stiff. And immediately we identified that. In fact, I actually noticed it on a set that was going up. I'm like, wow, this seems really stiff on this one. And then once we identified, first thing and most important was identify, is this actually real? The production facility said, yeah, it looks like this batch is a little, skewed to one side. It's a little stiff. It creaked on us. And that batch of black is going to be tough. So immediately I got on and I reached out to those customers who would have received those types of sets and let them know that it's possible that they got a unit that is going to be stiff to get on. And I actually sent those out, and fairly quickly they came back and said, yeah, this 8 ounce is really tough to get on. And so immediately I recognized that some of those got out of the gate, got out of the stock room, got to the customers. And then we did, problem solving and a course of action to resolve and mitigate the issue, and then replace all those. We're essentially going to say, okay, whether your 11 or 14 has been, had the same batch problem or not, it doesn't matter. What we're going to do is you're just going to replace those right away, send them a return address for free. It comes back, they get back on it and start swinging, because none of them really want to give it up. They want to swing it if they can get it on. We also then identified an interim solution from one of the customers who said, and I just put a little soap on it and wiggle it on. And I'm like, okay, and so there may be an interim where they can still swing it and put a little soap on. And then when they get the new ones, they'll be styling right away. So
but that's a very proactive approach to what you're doing, making sure that the customer's well taken care of, that you found a problem, you identified a problem, you let them know. Customers actually, I think, appreciate that more. And I'm speaking from my own personal perspective. If I get something that doesn't work right and I'm like, well, maybe it was just I didn't understand it, but then the company reaches out and says, hey, we made a mistake, we want to rectify this mistake. I like that company more. I feel that is almost a better experience at times than having the perfect product come in, because you actually care. Yeah.
I mean, when it happened, the first thing I thought about is, I want to let them know, right? Golfers are fantastic customers. I have so much fun talking. I talk to maybe 4 or 5 customers a day. They have questions about which grip size or what weight should I use, and this is the kind. And I'm telling you, it's a blast. I mean, I get goosebumps talking to folks all the time and telling them about what they can expect to achieve, and then they call back on a regular basis and let me know. Holy buckets, Doug's! I'm hitting the ball 10, 15 yards further with my 7-iron, and my chipping is. I'm not lobbing it right by the pin. So, I mean, it's just fun. It's painful when I don't deliver and we give them a bad product or whatever, but I got to get there before they know or they've experienced it and they have to pick up the phone. That's important to me.
Oh, absolutely. All right, let's see what's going on here in the future. So it sounds like you're on a good trajectory here. Everything, product's working. You're seeing results. People are loving the product. What's going to happen here in the future? What are the goals? What do you want to achieve?
Yeah. So to give you an idea, just about the concept here. So it started in March, and we were in production. We were able to start production in 3 months, which is pretty amazing if you're familiar with operations and things like that. And I had decided to delay that a little while so that we could optimize some of the production so that we could get the price of the product down lower for folks, because we want everybody to be able to use it. And then we launched, I think it was August 18th of last year, and we broke even in about 9 months. So it is successful, and it's shown that we've really applied the disciplines of business. And so now that we are we have our investors whole and we're making money and we broke even. Now we can start to look down that journey that we've always projected, but we can start to move there. And what we're looking at is additional products for additional sports. This concept works across anything that's a club, whether it's lacrosse or hockey. There's some engineering differences because it's not necessary at the end for hockey, and then tennis and other sports. And so the way I structured the business is to really be a conglomerate that expands into a product portfolio of another number of sports, and then work through those products and expand that portfolio for athletes to improve their game. We have other products as well. The company is actually, the EndSwate brand is actually under what is called D&D Devices Incorporated. And we have a number of other product ideas that we've noodled on that are even outside the sporting space that we'll probably introduce once we generate enough money and put a noodle center together and get engineering skills and other folks to help out to really launch those products quickly.
What's the price point at? Can I buy them individually, or do I have to buy the whole package? How does it?
No. So you can buy them singly. Right now, for July, we have a pretty big sale on them. It's I think 20% for the individual units and 25% for the set. So you can buy individuals and you can buy sets. We give a little discount on the sets. There isn't a cost advantage to us, but get people into the set if they prefer. And that's a pretty good price. So the standard retail is $39.95, and then it's about 100 and whatever that is times 3, $120 or so. But with the 20 and 25% off, I think it's around $31 and about $90. So it's a pretty good deal as far as that.
$30 to get your swing in a position where golf is just that much funner if you're hitting the ball straight. Right?
And you know what's funny when you say that? When you say funner, what the instructors are experiencing is the students, when they get it, especially the youngsters, they love it. They want to swing it all the time, because what happens is they see immediate results, which is just so exciting for them, right? Rather than, coming every day for, a week to try to work something out or whatever it is, they're seeing the results right away. And so that it's just a much more exciting experience. Additionally, for instructors, what's happening, and we weren't sure what would happen, but the instructors are finding as they are able to work people through challenging swing mechanics, their value add to the student improves, because now they can advance that student on other things, whether it's the tactics and strategies of golf or other aspects of their game. And so they enjoy it more because they're adding more value for their students, but they're also able to tap into more what they know and share that with their students. And it's exceeded everybody's expectations, players and instructors.
Yeah, it's awesome when the light bulb goes off in any aspect of learning. It doesn't matter whether you're in the classroom or on the field. When something finally clicks, like you just have this new drive, this new fuel, this new passion behind it. You want to do it more.
Yeah.
So, at that price point, at $30, I mean, 30, even at $40, to be able to have that light bulb go off and these kids be able to, enjoy the game a little bit differently, where, all of a sudden it's not so, it's not so technical anymore. They have the mechanics down to be able to put the ball in the direction that they want to go in. Now I'd be worried about the parents. Now the kid's going to want to go golfing more often.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a different kind of problem.
What was funny is when we introduced the prototypes into the field up at the Aide Golf Academy, we had a number of parents, Kip and his team, introduced it to some of the kids, and the results that was happening in that first session, the parents are with them, and the parents are just going nuts. And I'd had a couple parents reached out and said, I want to buy 13 of these for all their clubs. And I'm like, really? That would be nice, but you really don't have to do that, right? I'd have to design a new golf bag because they wouldn't fit in. But one of the parents actually went and tried to create a gimmick or create a product, and went down to Home Depot and was noodling on how to do it. He couldn't achieve it, right? He couldn't achieve it. And of course we got the patents, but the parents see it and they're just super excited and they want their kids on it right away. And I'm telling you, one of the best consumers out there is a parent. They want their kid to achieve, and they see the results right there in front of their very eyes, and they're just like, I can't believe this. We got to have it. I got to get my paws on this. So
just wait till you start adding like other metrics on there. Now it's going to start reading your swing speed and the direction and all kinds of cool stuff. Then they're going to be not only seeing the improvement of their game, but actually seeing the improvement in statistically on what's happening.
Well, and we have that actually. So at the Aide Golf Academy, they have all the technology. It's a high-end academy. And we've done all the testing. I mean, we put 14 ounces on, have people swing it, take it off, and we're seeing 2, even more miles an hour faster in the head speed, just swinging the 14 like 6 times. And we're also seeing with the technology that's there, they're hitting balls. And so we're able to have somebody come into the studio, swing it with it, take it off, go through the set or go through the different combinations, and then they hit balls and they see on the projector where their balls are landing, and they're seeing that tightness or that less ball dispersion, tighten it up and having that straighter and longer ball travel. It's fantastic.
Well, Doug, I just want to make sure everybody's aware. You guys can check them out on EndSwate, at EndSwate for social media. It's tomorrow. And EndSwate.com to get your guys' get a hold of them. I mean, get your pack, get your game up. You'll be, if you're the guy like me who shows up to the golf course and is hitting the trees, and then the next time you show up, I'm hitting everything down the middle, you're gonna think I did some sort of trick. My balls are packing some GPS or something, right? But it comes down to the mechanics. So make sure you guys check that out. All right, I got one more segment for you. Real simple. I want to know what your experience was like on the Business Bros podcast.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, you guys have great energy. You do your homework. You're knowledgeable. You probe the right questions. You let a person like me be able to share as best I can in a short period of time of about my product, a little bit about myself, and some of my experience. And I mean, that's about learning and then expanding or sharing that learning. And I think there's nothing more important than that. And this type of media is a fantastic way of doing it, especially during these tough times of COVID, right? So fantastic, guys. I really appreciate it. And if you want me back anytime to talk about other stuff, I'd be more than happy to see how I can add to your add to your journey.
I think I'm definitely going to want to know where this goes a little bit further down the road. Doug, thank you for taking the time, especially on the last minute call. So ladies and gents, just so you guys are aware, I mean, we're always looking for guests. You know, we do a show every single day, and then life happens. Life gets in the way sometimes. So if you want to be on our last minute guest list, just like Doug, you'll get an email. Sometimes I know sometimes it'll be like 20 minutes before the show time starts, and sometimes it's like, a day before. So if you want to be on the last minute guest list, come on the show. Just go to businessbros.biz/last minute, and we'll get you guys on that list. And, it's a first come, first serve basis. But Doug, it works out, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, ladies and gents, that's pretty much. Oh, I got one more thing because, it's not really for Doug, but it is our birthday. All right, birthday shout out for the day goes out to Francisco Pancho Lopez. He owns Las Pinches Tortas in El Cajon. You guys go check it out. The best milkshakes ever. So you guys want to go check him out. He's also a realtor with Big Block Realty. So I saw on his Facebook he only wants 2 things for his birthday. First, be kind and loving to each other. Second, if you have any real estate leads, call him up. That's what he's asking for his birthday. So I'm going to go for a third here. A third is go check out Las Pinches Tortas. Grab yourself a torta. Grab yourself a milkshake. It's some of the best stuff. And yes, it's COVID, so they'll make sure you take it to go if you like. But go check it out. All right. That's what we got for you guys today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow is SHIT. So happy it's Thursday. Woo-hoo. Doug, thanks again for being on the show. Peace.
Appreciate it. Peace.
And bye-bye. And we're out.
Bye-bye. Yep.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Herman, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@seeusfirst.com to schedule a free consultation. Or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.
Boom.
Boom.
That
Nice
is it. It's still going on my side. It still says live.
Shoot.